because they really know how to just ruin your day. The U.S. government hates everybody here. Y'all, as of May 5th, they're taking 15% of your wages towards student loans. Y'all, I've been ignoring student loans since I've been in school. If y'all know how much I owe in student loan, y'all would think I went to school to be a lawyer. And it's a degree that wasn't even providing me a decent lifestyle. I was just living off vibes. So you mean to tell me I went to school and y'all lied to me? Y'all wanted me to go out there and do triple the work to get a degree. Y'all, I owe so much money. I'm in Texas, so we don't have state tax. 15%. Oh, you might as well go ahead and add 5 more. Add 10. Because that's the state tax. I cannot believe this. I just had to pull over, y'all. My head started throbbing. I'm about to get a headache. They're doing this in a couple of weeks, y'all. I got to go do deferment. I got to go do something. Y'all, we can't get away from this. People are even already saying that their credit score has dropped from a 700 something to a 500 something. Oh my gosh, my credit score. 15%, whether you have it or not, as of May 5th. So long as you have money in your bank account, they are taking it. Matter of fact, financial aid just called me the other day and I hung up on them. Not in the mood, don't have it. I'm living off life. I'm vibing. This man really said, you know what? Let's make the rich richer. Let's make the others poor.
Hey, giving all praises to Yahweh by Shem Yahweh Shah by Shema Rechakwadash, double honors to our apostles and elders here at Great Millstone. Peace and blessings to the Lord's hopefully elect. So the squeeze, Esau's not letting up. With that student loan situation, people who deferred or was deferring it, they either tanked their credit and or took away what they call the payment. Is like a payment plan based off your income. And people were saying that what they normally pay, which probably be like a minimum amount, it shot up to like $900 a month or something like that. Now, we'll see what they do, but now he's talking about in May, people who aren't been paying or whatever it is, they're going to just come after your wages now. The thing about student loans is you can't get rid of them because Esau Edom set it up as a snare. They took away back starting, I would say like the 70s, they took away all of the trade skills out of the high schools and middle schools and all that. And they geared it more towards streamlining everybody to follow the same path, which is just go to college. Even if you don't know what you want to do, just go for something, do something, get a business degree or something. And they took away telling people about trades. They took away telling the people how to probably, be a self-starter. They don't even teach economics anymore. I'm a 91, and I didn't learn economics, period. I had to be taught savings from my parents. Nobody talked about a trade or anything like that. I had to learn that fresh out. And it's even worse now. So now they're just telling people to follow this path, which is on purpose. Because when you go to those colleges and you get those loans, you can't get rid of them, as in like a bankruptcy, because they're considered private loans. So it's all a trap. It's all to keep people in debt. The American dollar itself is debt. They use the American dollar as a weapon in other countries. They go to countries and say, hey, how about this? We'll give you, your land got a lot of potential. How about we give you a loan? We can give you a loan and you can start building using these oil fields and all that. They say, oh, okay. Then they take the loan, they start building. They getting a lot of business done. Then they can't pay them. Like, hey, man, look, we can't pay you. Oh, you can't pay me? We'll tell you what. Give me your oil fields in exchange for you not being able to pay me. And the next thing you know, now U.S. has an oil field, right, in Kenya or whatever it is. That's how they come over there and they steal. And then now the people of your land will be working for me all the rest of y'all days because y'all can't pay off this debt. The American dollar is a debt. If they do that to other countries, you damn sure they're going to do that to their own citizens. People in this land, It's just you're just debt slaves, all of us. That's why you can't even imagine not going to work, because you have stuff to pay, and it's going to always be like that because it's designed that way. So just more reason to accept that this place has to be destroyed. There's no future here. As the scripture says, we have no continuing city. And Jacob's trouble is starting to ramp up. The book of Isaiah, chapter 19, says, the burden of Egypt, behold, the Lord rideth upon a swift cloud, and shall come into Egypt, and the idols of Egypt shall be moved at his presence, and the heart of Egypt shall melt in the midst of it. Now, Egypt is referring to Babylon the Great. Yes, there's times where the Lord is referring to actual Egypt, but the Lord referred to America as Egypt because when he delivered us out of the land of Egypt the first time, it was acknowledged as the house of bondage, the house of slavery. America as well is known as the house of slavery, house of bondage, because we were brought here on slave ships. So when you read the scriptures and they talk about the Lord bringing a future prophecy to Egypt, if you have understanding, you'll know that he's talking about Babylon, which is America. Because America is known in the scriptures as Babylon the Great, Sodom, Gomorrah, and Egypt, as well as Tyre, and so on. It says, and I will set the Egyptians against the Egyptians, and they shall fight everyone against his brother, and everyone against his neighbor, city against city, and kingdom against kingdom. That's happening now. Racial tensions, backstabbing, the love of many shall wax cold. So the Lord is going to turn this place against each other. It says, and the spirit of Egypt shall fail in the midst thereof, and I will destroy the counsel thereof, and they shall seek to the idols, and to the charmers, and to them that have familiar spirits, and to wizards. So the Lord's going to take the counsel away, and everything that this man's pushing in society leads solely to death, whether it's transgenderism, LGBT, the use of plastic. None of those things yield life. So everybody's just on a path really to death. Nobody's on a path to life. It says, and the Egyptians will I give over into the hand of a cruel Lord, and a fierce king shall rule over them, said the Lord, Yahweh, the Lord of hosts. And we believe that to be Donald Trump, that cruel Lord. As you can see, he doesn't care. He's putting a squeeze on the people. All right? Because you're going to be surprised just about how many people have a loan, especially them student loans. And I would say every woman you meet, chances are she has one. Because America literally is based off of the American debt is off of two things primarily: student loans and credit card debt. That's how the society functions. And you think you're going to be free? The whole society itself, the design, the actual, from the ground up, the goal of the Federal Reserve anyway is for perpetual debt, for everybody to be in perpetual slavery. Because then you're going to go to work, and you've been at work ever since, and you can't imagine not working because you got shit to pay. That's the society. It's not geared to make you free. And it's just going to get harder and harder. It's just going to keep squeezing. So what's your only hope? Your only hope is that the Lord speed things up to destroy this place. It's only going to get harder for everyone. That's why the scriptures call it Jacob's trouble. As Deuteronomy 28:65, as the curses read, and among these nations shalt thou find no ease, neither shall the sole of thy foot have rest. But the Lord Yahweh shall give thee there a trembling heart, and failing of eyes, and sorrow of mind. So you're not going to find rest. This isn't our rest. This isn't our rest. That's why you have to let go of this place, and all the more pray, all the more look for a better kingdom was established by the Lord, and all the more ask the Lord to destroy this place much faster. Hebrews 13:14. For here we have no continuing city, but we seek one to come. When you look, the Hebrew Israelites, a lot of you got a problem. We're preaching you life. We're preaching you prophecy. We're telling you that the Lord has a kingdom established where all the creatures can actually live to their full potential and things can go back to normal. You get mad at us because we prophesy the destruction of wickedness. We're coming against the evil in this society, and you get mad at us. We're preaching to you the good news. You want to just stay here and suffer. That's why we say that you guys are really sick in the head. Hebrews 4. Verse 4, for he spake in a certain place of the seventh day on this wise, and Yahweh did rest in the seventh day from all his works. And in this place again, if they shall enter into my rest, saying therefore it remaineth that some of us, that some must enter therein, and they to whom it was first preached entered not in because of unbelief. Talking about when we went to the land of Israel, which that wasn't the end all, but even then they couldn't enter because of unbelief. Just like now, 2/3 of Israelites won't make it because of unbelief. It says, again, he limited a certain day, saying to David, today, after so long a time, as it is said, today, if ye hear his voice, harden not your hearts. For if Yahushua had given them rest, then would he not afterward have spoken of another day? Right? So he was always saying that there is still another rest, which was the kingdom of heaven. Verse 9. Really, bro? Okay. He says, there remaineth therefore a rest to the people of Yahweh. So there is still a rest remaineth, and that's the kingdom of heaven. It's not America. And since I'm right here, I might as well read, since I made that point. Verse 68, it says, and the Lord Yahweh, back in the curses of Deuteronomy 28, and the Lord Yahweh shall bring thee into Egypt again with ships, by the way whereof I spake unto thee, thou shalt see it no more again. And there ye shall be sold unto your enemies for bondmen and bondwomen, and no man shall buy you. Now, if you know anything about the land of Israel, Jerusalem, and Egypt, you walk there. You don't need no ship. So he was talking about a new Egypt, or Mizraim, that's what the Hebrew word is there for. A new house of bondage is where you're going to be sold by ships, and you shall see it, your land no more again, and you're going to be sold as bondmen and bondwomen. And it says no man shall buy you, which means no man shall redeem you or go back to save you or to claim you. You were just sold as slaves, and no man came to your rescue. That's what happened when the Israelites, starting with the northern kingdom, the so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans. All right, the first slave ships actually went from west to east when they took 500 Native Americans back to Spain, I believe, to be as slaves, but they were all killed because of to rebel. And then the Atlantic slave trade was initiated, and they used the Hamites, the so-called Africans, to gather up the Jews, the Negroes, and then it consisted of the Levites as well as the Benjaminites. And then they sold us over here on cargo. They brought us over here on cargo slave ships. It took us approximately 3 months, a 3-month trip. Okay, tight packing us in slave ships, where we lost thousands, died, right? And for hundreds of years they did that, and that's how we came over here in the land of Babylon the Great, which is also known as Egypt. And here we serve hardcore bondage, and was sold on auction blocks, etc. And we've been in slavery ever since. And this is why I said that among these nations you shall find no rest. So there's still no rest for us to call home. There's no place for us to call home. So there's just all the more reason to accept that this place has to be destroyed and to just come back to Yahweh, Yahushua. Because the scripture talk about Jacob's trouble. This is happening right now. All right, this cruel Lord is bringing the squeeze. Shalom.